The following is a series of creepy riddles. Try to guess the hidden meaning to each story and leave your answer in the comments below. The answers will be in the description of the next Creepy Riddles series. Story 1. Play the tape.
Many years ago, there was a rich old man who lived alone in a mansion on top of a hill. One night, the police received a call saying that the man committed suicide. When they arrived at the scene, the old man's butler opened the door. He said that he had been working late, cleaning up in the kitchen when he heard a shot ring out. He ran upstairs and was horrified to find his employer had killed himself. The police asked to see the body, and the butler led them upstairs to the old man's bedroom. The old man was sitting, slumped over on his desk. There was a pool of blood around his head, and there was a bullet wound in his temple. A gun was sitting on his desk, just beside the old man's right hand. Near his left hand, there was a tape recorder. After dusting the gun for fingerprints, they found only the fingerprints of the old man on it. One of the policemen pressed the play button on the tape recorder. They heard the old man's voice saying, "My name is Samuel Richardson. I'm lonely and unhappy, so I've decided to leave this cruel world. I'm sorry. May God have mercy on my soul." A second later, they heard the sound of a gunshot. After listening to the tape, the police arrested the butler for murder. Why did the police arrest the butler?
Story 2. Door chain.
My sister is an art teacher, and 10 months ago she rented a cheap 2-bedroom apartment to use as a studio. She never actually lived there, she just used it as a place where she could paint and store her art supplies. When I left college, I started a new job in the city. I desperately needed a place to stay, but I hadn't received my first paycheck, so I couldn't afford to pay rent. Luckily enough, my sister offered to let me stay in her apartment until I got on my feet. She gave me the keys and I moved my stuff in the next morning. That evening, I arrived home from work. I was excited about having my own place for the first time. My sister had told me that there was a lot of crime in the neighborhood, and to always be sure I locked the front door. To be extra safe, I locked the door with the deadbolt and the chain. In the kitchen, I made myself some chicken curry with rice. Then I read some comics until it was time for bed. I checked the door and the gas and went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night. It must have been around 2 or 3 in the morning, and I heard the sound of someone unlocking the deadbolt on the front door. Must be my sister coming in to paint, I thought to myself. I heard her go into the room next door to my bedroom. That was the room she used as a studio. I'd been in there earlier and it was empty except for some canvas and paints. I was tired and I had work again the next morning, so I stayed in bed. Through the wall, I could hear her mumbling and laughing to herself. "These artists are weird people," I said to myself, and it wasn't long until I fell asleep again. When I woke up the next morning, my sister was gone, and I was alone in the apartment. I got out of bed, showered, and dressed myself. I quickly poured myself a bowl of cornflakes and ate it hungrily. Then I grabbed my briefcase and went out the front door. When I turned around to lock the front door, I was suddenly terrified. After work, I went home to my parents' house. I never went back to the apartment after that. I was too scared.